So it's reported that Shadur Sanders will not throw at the NFL Combine. And from his perspective, I totally agree with it. It's not a really competitive QB class. It's only him and Cam Ward slated to beat the top guys in the first round of this draft. So if you don't really have anything to prove, if your competition really isn't that fierce, why bother throwing? He doesn't really have a lot to gain, in my opinion. And instead, he will reportedly focus on interviews with NFL teams. And I actually think that's kind of important too, because I feel like a lot of NFL teams will kind of question him about his dad and if his dad will be a distraction. I'm sure Dion won't, but at the same time, he can be outspoken to a certain extent. And when it comes to quarterbacks, they're usually the face of their respected franchise. So when you're the face of $1 billion business organization, you kind of have to be a professional. It can't be a circus. It can't be a distraction. So I think the NFL interviews for Shadur will be very critical to see how far he goes in the NFL draft, whether or not he's going to go in the top 5 or if he'll fall out of there. And that's the thing, if you're a top QB prospect, there really is no point in throwing at the combine. Like I said, you have nothing to gain and everything to lose, but if you are slated to be a mid-tier QB for an upcoming draft like Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Riley Leonard, then absolutely you have a lot to prove. If you have a good showing at the combine, who knows, maybe you could jump up around and you could impress a few teams. And that's the thing, man, the higher you get selected, the more money you make. So there's definitely a lot at stake from that perspective. And Shador has already made so much money. The dude is a millionaire already, so I think he's set. But it's kind of an interesting question on if one day the NFL Draft Combine will just be extinct. I don't think the NFL Draft Combine will be fully just axed, but I can see them making some adjustments in the future, because if you really think about it, the NFL Draft Combine is really for kind of like the guys in the middle of the draft, like the third rounders, the fifth rounders, etc., etc. It's not really for the top prospects, because there's really not much to show. We know what they are. We've seen the tape. And there's always been this debate of it being pointless, just because how do you use the combine drills as a metric to really see how good of a player that guy is on an actual football field? It's not really a good equation. So, I don't know, man. I think there will be some adjustments made in the NFL Draft Combine, maybe in the next 10 years, but we'll have to see how it goes. It definitely has evolved, because back like in the early 2000s, every QB threw in the combine. But now, in the past like 10 years, some guys sit out, some guys don't throw, some guys do half the drills, some guys don't run the 40. So we'll have to see how it all plays out in the future. But let me know if you think the NFL Draft Combine is pointless, or do you think it is a good metric to see what players can actually be good. Let me know in the comments below. But my early, kind of late February predictions for Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, and the top 5 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. If the Titans don't trade down, I'm fairly certain that they will just go with Cam Ward. And there's going to be a lot of smoke screens over the next few months of them saying some wild quotes and saying whatever they have to say to potentially facilitate a trade. If they stay there, I'd be pretty shocked if they don't draft Cam Ward. And as far as the Cleveland Browns go, that's another pick that could easily be traded, and I feel like they would want to trade down, and I think they should. But if hypothetically they stay at number 2, I don't see them drafting Shadur Sanders. I just don't. I really think Shadur is a lock to go to the New York Giants. And, the Giants GM Joe, that guy is an absolute clown. So you never know what the Browns could do here, man. They could finesse the Giants. They could act like they're really interested in Shadur Sanders to make them trade up one spot to acquire Shadur. I think it's very possible. I think there's going to be a lot of mind games the next few months. And we'll see how desperate the New York Giants really get for Shadur Sanders, because I think it's a very possible thing that they could trade a lot to just move up one spot. We've seen it before with the San Francisco 49ers, the Chicago Bears back in 2017 with Mitch Trubisky. The Niners finessed the Bears like crazy, and that just did not turn out well. So, my advice to the New York Giants, do not trade up. If Shador is there at number 3, sure, take him. But if he's not, just take someone else, bro. Take Travis Hunter. Take Carter. Shador isn't a generational sort of talent. He could be a good NFL starting QB one day if he has the right personnel around him, absolutely. But I feel like the Giants have a lot more needs on that team besides the quarterback position. So those are just my early predictions for the Browns, Cam Ward, and Shadur Sanders. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. I've touched on this before, but my dream scenario for Shadur Sanders would be to end up in LA with the LA Rams some way, somehow. I just think Sean McVay, Shadur Sanders, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, I think that offense would be very electric. And I think LA would suit Shadur very well. He's been pretty used to the spotlight for the last couple of years, and the lights would not be too bright for him at all. But hypothetically, if he does go to the New York Giants, him and Malik Neighbors, Brian Dable, maybe they could muster something up. Definitely must-see TV, but I don't know. Kind of hesitant on that one if it'll actually work out or not. Let me know what your ideal team is for Shadur Sanders for this upcoming draft. Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Marching down the field and taking their time. The Chiefs defense now is going to go nickel. 3rd down and 6. Can't hold on here as this ball's incomplete.
Amaro is going to go back to the huddle and look at all of his teammates and go, my bad. Well, they know it's your bad. Everybody, even the offensive linemen, they saw you were open and you dropped the pass that was right to you. But, hey, that's the way it goes. You got to keep the confidence up. I think he will, and I'm sure the football will find its way towards him again.
The Jets on a quest for their 3rd straight scoring drive here, Phil. They've been having their way with that defense on these last few possessions.
Well, let me say this, Jim, it's not that easy to score points in the NFL, not the way they're making it look, and they're confident, they look like they're fast, they're fresh, they're rested. It's been fun to watch.
1st down on the way. Out of the shotgun formation. Can't hold on here as this goes incomplete.
All you have to do is watch the head of the receiver. When they drop footballs, usually it's because you can see their head move the other way before the football gets there. That's what happened this time, and it's a drop pass.
And the catch by Alfred Morris.
The Jets, that time, they can't get big yards, but the throw and catch picks up a few, and his 3rd down's much easier with this situation.
The Jets from the 37. And Curley's got it on a pass, had some heat on it. The Jets signal for the timeout, and they have none remaining. Set up now at the 37. This play set up by the long gainer. Snapping out of the gun. And Curley's got it on a pass that had some heat. That's 5 receptions on the day. This will most likely be the final play before the half ends. Throws it in the end zone. Touchdown. Getting close to the half, and they're giving their opponents a lot to talk about in the locker room.